You've cut the carbs, you've shrunk the portions, and still, 45 minutes after eating, your stomach is sending a signal that says it wants more. Most people blame their willpower. The research points somewhere else entirely. Some of the most powerful signals that control your hunger don't come from your brain. They come from your gut, specifically from the bacteria living inside it and the hormones those bacteria help release into your bloodstream. Today, I want to talk about one of the simplest things you can do before every meal that may support two of these systems at the same time. It won't replace a caloric deficit, nothing does. But if persistent hunger has been derailing your plan, this is worth understanding. We're talking about chia seeds, not as a miracle food, not as a fat burner, but as a tool that may help your body send better signals about how full you actually are. The mechanism involves two things: a gut bacterium called Akkermansia muciniphila, one of the most studied microbes in metabolic research right now, and a hormone called GLP-1, which tells your brain you've had enough. You may have heard of it. Ozempic and Wegovy work by mimicking this exact hormone. But here's what's interesting. Your gut is already designed to produce GLP-1 naturally. The question is whether it's getting the right raw material to do that. And that's where chia seeds come in. Before I explain the mechanism, let me be clear about something. I'll say this once and repeat it throughout. We're talking about supporting your fat loss efforts, not replacing the fundamentals of energy balance. Dr. Kevin Hall's metabolic research at the NIH has consistently shown that a caloric deficit remains the primary driver of fat loss. What we're exploring today is how gut-based signaling may help you stick to that deficit by managing hunger better. Stick with me, because in a moment, I'm going to explain exactly what happens in your gut when you eat soaked chia seeds before a meal and why the timing of when you eat them matters more than most people realize. Let's start with GLP-1. Its full name is glucagon-like peptide 1, but you don't need to remember that. What you need to know is this. GLP-1 is your body's natural "I've had enough" signal. When you eat, certain cells in your small intestine and colon, called L cells, release GLP-1 into your bloodstream. Once it's there, it does three things. It tells your pancreas to release insulin. It slows down how quickly food leaves your stomach. And, most importantly for fat loss, it sends a message to your brain that says, "You're full, stop eating." Think of GLP-1 like a volume dial on your hunger. When it's turned up, hunger is quiet. When it's turned down, or when your gut isn't producing enough, hunger is loud, constant, and hard to ignore. Dr. Jason Fung, a physician who has done extensive clinical work on insulin resistance and metabolic health, has highlighted how disrupted hunger signaling contributes to the cycle of dieting and rebound. Your body isn't broken when it keeps telling you it's hungry. It's responding to the signals it's getting. The question is how to give it better signals. Here's the piece most people miss. Your gut bacteria play a major role in how much GLP-1 your body produces. Research published in the journal MBio confirms that gut microbiota affect GLP-1 production through metabolites, specifically short-chain fatty acids, which are produced when bacteria ferment dietary fiber. These short-chain fatty acids bind to receptors on L cells and stimulate GLP-1 release. So the pathway looks like this. You eat prebiotic fiber, gut bacteria ferment it, short-chain fatty acids are produced, those compounds trigger your gut to release GLP-1, your brain gets the full signal. Chia seeds, which contain about 10 grams of fiber per ounce, mostly in soluble form, are one of the more accessible ways to feed this exact pathway. But there's a specific bacterium in your gut that may amplify this even further, and that's where things get really interesting. You've probably never heard of Akkermansia muciniphila. Most people haven't. but in the world of gut microbiome and metabolic research, it's become one of the most studied bacteria of the last decade. Here's what makes it remarkable. Akkermansia lives in the mucus layer of your intestinal wall, the protective coating that lines your gut. Its job is to maintain the integrity of that lining. And when your gut lining is strong, something important happens. Less inflammation leaks into your bloodstream, your body's insulin response improves, and your hunger hormones work better. Research shows that people with obesity and type 2 diabetes consistently have lower levels of Akkermansia compared to lean, metabolically healthy individuals. It's not a coincidence. In a landmark proof-of-concept clinical trial published in Nature Medicine, researchers found that overweight, insulin-resistant adults who supplemented with pasteurized Akkermansia for 3 months showed improvements in insulin sensitivity and reductions in insulinemia compared to placebo, along with modest, though not statistically significant, reductions in body weight and fat mass. This was the first controlled human trial of its kind. But here's the part that connects directly to GLP-1 and to your hunger. Research published in Nature Microbiology in 2021 identified a specific protein secreted by Akkermansia called P9. This protein binds to receptors on your gut's L cells and directly triggers GLP-1 secretion. In animal models, administration of P9 prevented weight gain and improved glucose tolerance through this exact pathway. A 2025 in vitro study published in the journal Nutrients confirmed that Akkermansia cell extracts stimulate a dose-dependent rise in GLP-1 secretion from human L cells. This is an emerging area of research. Most of the mechanistic data comes from animal studies and in vitro experiments, and human trials are ongoing. But the direction of evidence is consistent. Higher Akkermansia abundance is associated with better metabolic outcomes and stronger hunger signaling. So, what feeds Akkermansia? Research points to several things: polyphenol-rich foods like pomegranate and green tea, omega-3 fatty acids, and prebiotic fiber, specifically the kind that reaches the colon intact and serves as fuel for beneficial bacteria. And that brings us back to chia seeds. Here's what makes chia seeds worth talking about in this context. They contain two things that may work together to support these systems. The first is soluble fiber, specifically a substance called mucilage that forms a gel when chia seeds are soaked in water. You've probably seen this. Drop chia seeds in a glass of water for 15 minutes and they expand into a thick jelly-like mass. That gel doesn't just look impressive, it does something functional in your gut. When that gel reaches your digestive system, it slows down gastric emptying, the rate at which food moves from your stomach into your small intestine. This mechanical slowing is one reason a randomized controlled trial published in Nutrition Research and Practice found that participants who consumed 7 to 14 grams of chia seeds with yogurt reported significantly lower hunger scores, lower desire for sugary foods, and higher satiety scores compared to the control group. These were not minor differences. They were statistically significant across multiple hunger and satiety measures. The second component is omega-3 fatty acids. Chia seeds are one of the richest plant-based sources of alpha-linolenic acid, ALA. Diets high in polyunsaturated fatty acids, including from chia seeds, have been associated with supporting the gut environment where Akkermansia thrives. Omega-3s appear to contribute to a gut environment that is less inflammatory and more hospitable to beneficial bacteria like Akkermansia. Now, I want to be honest about the limits of what we know here. The direct link between chia seed consumption and increases in Akkermansia abundance in humans has not yet been demonstrated in a well-powered clinical trial. What the research does support is this: chia's prebiotic fiber feeds the fermentation pathway that produces short-chain fatty acids, and those SCFAs are one of the primary inputs that stimulate GLP-1 release and support gut barrier integrity, which is where Akkermansia operates. The connection is mechanistically plausible. Whether eating chia seeds directly increases Akkermansia in your gut is still being studied. What is clearer is the gut to GLP-1 pathway. Research from MBio confirms that prebiotic fermentation produces SCFAs, which bind to receptors on your L cells and drive GLP-1 secretion. Chia's soluble fiber is a substrate for exactly this process. So, trigger number 1, chia's soluble fiber feeds gut bacteria, which produce short-chain fatty acids, which may stimulate GLP-1 release, your natural fullness hormone. Trigger number 2, chia's gel-forming fiber physically slows gastric emptying, which prolongs satiety and blunts post-meal hunger. Both pathways are supported by research. This only works if you prepare chia seeds correctly. Dry chia seeds sprinkled on food won't produce the gel. The soluble fiber needs water to activate. Soak 1 to 2 tablespoons of chia seeds in about 1 cup of water for at least 15 to 20 minutes before your meal. Drink or eat this 10 to 15 minutes before you sit down to eat. The gel needs to reach your stomach before food does. When it's already there, it slows gastric emptying from the start of your meal. If plain chia gel is unpleasant, add lemon juice or a splash of unsweetened fruit juice. Keep the calories low so it doesn't offset the appetite effect. How much? The satiety study used 7 to 14 grams, roughly 1 to 2 tablespoons. Start with 1 tablespoon if you're new to high-fiber foods. Adding fiber too quickly can cause temporary bloating, so work up gradually over 1 to 2 weeks. And be realistic about expectations. Dr. Christopher Gardner's research at Stanford consistently shows that adherence is the strongest predictor of fat loss outcomes. Chia gel before meals is one tool that may help you manage hunger. It won't work in isolation from your overall nutrition habits. Here's something worth understanding about fat loss that most advice skips over. One of the biggest reasons diets fail isn't lack of discipline, it's unsustainable hunger. Dr. Kevin Hall's metabolic ward studies at the NIH have shown that when people restrict calories, their bodies produce more of the hunger hormone ghrelin and less of the satiety hormone leptin. Your biology is working against you, not with you. Think of leptin like your body's fuel gauge. It's supposed to tell your brain the tank is full, but in caloric restriction, that gauge starts reading lower than reality. You feel empty even when you've eaten enough. This is metabolic adaptation. It's normal, it's documented, and it's one of the main reasons people regain weight after dieting. GLP-1 is one of the signals that can help counteract this. It's not a cure for metabolic adaptation, but it does provide an independent signal of fullness that doesn't depend on leptin. That's why drugs that mimic GLP-1 are so effective. They bypass the broken feedback loop. Supporting your gut's ability to produce GLP-1 naturally through fiber, through healthy gut bacteria, through foods that feed those bacteria is a legitimate metabolic strategy. It's not a shortcut, but combined with a moderate caloric deficit and consistent habits, it may make the deficit easier to maintain. Dr. Rhonda Patrick, a biomedical scientist, has highlighted the role that gut barrier integrity plays in metabolic function. When your gut lining is healthy, when Akkermansia is doing its job, inflammation is lower, insulin sensitivity is better, and your hunger signals are more accurate. Chia seeds alone won't fix your metabolism, but supporting your gut lining and GLP-1 pathway before every meal is a low-cost strategy worth considering. So let's put this together. Before every meal, your gut is either primed to send strong satiety signals or it isn't. Soaking chia seeds in water and drinking that gel 10 to 15 minutes before you eat may support both the mechanical and hormonal sides of that equation. The soluble fiber slows gastric emptying. The prebiotic component feeds gut bacteria that produce short-chain fatty acids. Those SCFAs stimulate GLP-1, your body's natural hunger-reducing hormone, and a healthy gut environment supports the bacteria like Akkermansia that may amplify that GLP-1 signal further. Is this going to melt fat? No. Is it a replacement for a caloric deficit? Also no. But if you've been doing everything right and persistent hunger keeps derailing your plan, this is one of the more interesting and accessible things the research supports trying. Your metabolism isn't broken. Your body is responding to the signals it's receiving. Giving it better inputs, including the right fiber at the right time, is a science-backed way to work with your biology rather than against it. If this helped you understand the connection between your gut and your hunger hormones, hit like so more people can find this information. Drop a comment below. Have you tried chia seeds before meals? Did it change your hunger? Your experience helps other people watching figure out what works for them. Know someone who's been struggling with constant hunger while dieting? Send them this. It might be exactly what they need. Subscribe for more evidence-based content on metabolism and fat loss. No hype, no shortcuts, just the science.